Hello there everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video I've got a one key Nightmare Hydra team for you. This is the team I'm actually running at the moment. I one keyed with this team in week 1, and here's my week 2 run, which I want to share with you as well. There's a few kind of fun things in here, a couple of things I've tweaked up. For example, we've got a taunting set Geomancer, which is quite fun, I think. And by the way, obviously, you know, this is Nightmare. So this is very hard. This is very end game. I just think it might be kind of fun for you guys to see a video of what Nightmare actually looks like and get a feel for that. And probably there are some end game players that this will really help as well watching for sure. And also, I can let you know we're going on a bit of a Hydra rampage this week at the moment. I'm going to have a one key brutal team for you tomorrow, I think. Probably tomorrow. I'm not sure which days. I'm setting stuff up for the weekend. Got a long weekend, bank holiday weekend here in Ireland. So I got to pick the particular days. But right after I record this video, I'm going to be recording a one key team on brutal difficulty using Bivaled of the Thorn, the last fusion. And he worked really well. By the way, an unbooked Bivaled of the Thorn, and we one keyed it. He was awesome. So really excited to share that one with you as well. Let's dive into this run. Let's talk about it. What have we actually got set up here? So first and foremost, I did the one key hard video this week as well, and some people were getting a bit upset that I had Ninja in that key. Of course, in that video, I hopefully was relatively clear in pointing out that the Ninja was definitely not an essential part of that team composition. He certainly wasn't essential, and really any sort of damage dealer would do, though someone that did decent damage and also did HP burns like Ninja or Sissia or Tunisia, really good champions like that would be perfect for it. In this composition, the guy who just took his turn though, Krisk, let's be upfront, let's be honest, Krisk is 100% essential for this composition. This is a Krisk composition. So he is the really, by far, he's the Void Legendary. He is the best champion in the game for Hydra. This comp is built around him. If you are not lucky like me, I got super lucky and I pulled a Krisk. If you aren't lucky, you're simply not going to be able to use this composition. You can't replace him. It just doesn't work. So yeah, that's something to watch out for. What does Krisk do though? That's so good. Why is he the best champion in the game for Hydra? Well, he does a few specific things extremely well. So his A1 is an AoE attack, which can place decreased speed. So he can be your decreased speed champion, and that AoE attack does actually pretty decent damage with War Master. It procs the Head of Torment for that turn meter boost with Inquisitor Shamael. Does a whole bunch of stuff. His A2 gives him 2 continuous heals, puts ally protection on your entire team, apart from him, of course. And then it also extends all of your buffs by 1 turn as well. It's also an AoE attack. Now, what that lets him do, obviously, it just makes the rest of your team way more consistent because you've got a buff extender in there. It makes your team way more survivable because they're going to be protected 100% of the time by ally protection, right? It's a 3-turn cooldown. He puts ally protection for 2 turns, but he extends it by 1 turn. So he does 3 turns of ally protection on 3-turn cooldown. Everyone is permanently protected. And then because he's giving himself those continuous heals, he becomes a Mischief tank, right? He's got more buffs than everybody else on him. Therefore, the Head of Mischief is going to target him. And you build him with enough resistance, and suddenly Head of Mischief can't steal his turn meter buffs, and it makes your life much easier. On top of that, of course, we have Krisk's passive, which puts decreased defense and decreased attack on anyone that hits him. This is also important in terms of your positioning in your team. It actually is very important where you put your champions. I actually made a mistake with it in this run. I will not show you the whole run, probably. The whole run is up for members. If you're a member of the channel, you can see the whole run if you're interested. I tend to do that. I'll probably do that with all the runs this week. But yeah, you put him as close to the front of your team as you can because he will place the decreased attack as he's hit, and that decreased attack buff, that debuff that he places, will then apply to the hits onto the members that are behind him in the order. Now in my team, and I'm actually happy with this choice, I have Geomancer in the lead, and then I have Royal Guard in position number 2, Krisk in position number 3. That is because I want Geomancer or Royal Guard to be boosted by Shamael, right? If Geomancer gets eaten, I want Royal Guard to be boosted by Shamael so we can break Geomancer out quickly, so I'm happy with that. But then Krisk is in position 3. I should have put my Reviver in position 4, right behind Krisk. I made a mistake though, and Lydia was there, and you can see that actually costs us at the end of this run. But yeah, the other thing that Krisk does, which is now even better than before, his A3 puts increased defense on him, increased speed on everyone else, and it also taunts all of the enemies. So you can now use Krisk to lock down the Head of Decay pretty consistently, which is just fantastic. It's really, really good. So yeah, it's just absolutely nuts. He just locks down Head of Decay. You can use it to buy yourself so much time. You'll see in this run, the Head of Decay actually very rarely gets a turn. He very rarely gets his cleanse off. He does a couple of times, but really not very much. Krisk can, for the most part, lock him down mostly by himself, but it is important to have Lydia in the team to enable that, seeing as Lydia give you, or at least someone that gives you increased speed, and then Krisk is able to just spam his A1 most of the time, place decreased speed. With increased speed on Krisk, decreased speed on Head of Decay, you can keep ahead of it most of the time. Now we've got Geomancer in a taunting set for this. The taunting set gives you a 30% chance to place Provoke. Honestly, this works out reasonably well at a few different points in the run. It actually works okay. I wasn't in love with it though. It also goes wrong a few times because it's so random. 30% is so RNG. It procs sometimes when you really want it, then it doesn't proc other times when you really want it. And it can be just kind of a pain in the butt, right? So example right there, Krisk comes around and provokes, which is just great. It can be a real pain. It can be a real pain and can actually work against you sometimes, which sucks. This is the other key to this composition to make it work. You do need the Head of Torment to respawn, you know, within the first few heads. So respawning around this 15 million mark is perfect. This is going to give us enough juice with Inquisitor Shamail to get over the hump here. This is my Guardian set, Inquisitor Shamail. I just recorded, actually, I've been recording like a madman today. I think I'm going to record maybe 6 videos today or something. Like, this is like my day, apparently. But yeah, this is my Guardian set, Inquisitor Shamail. Did a guide on him earlier today. But yeah, he's doing a great job. Obviously, removing all those Fearsome Torment, turning him into Terminator boost for Geomancer and for Royal Guard. Royal Guard, he's fairly standard. He's just built fast. Nothing too special. I probably will do a Royal Guard guide soon as well. But he's built to be fast. He's got some decent accuracy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Lydia, nothing special with her. Pretty standard Lydia builds. I tried to run this composition with Ugo instead of Lydia, and it didn't work. The problem with Ugo instead of Lydia, we obviously lost some damage because we wouldn't have the weaken as consistently, and decreased defense could obviously weak hit with Ugo, whereas it doesn't with Lydia. We also lose out, I think, on a good chunk of turn meter that you get from Lydia counterattacking Torment, because she always counterattacks Torment extra, which gives extra turn meter boost to your Geomancer, which is quite useful. And then the other problem I ran into is that without Lydia, Krisk is your increased speed, but Krisk doesn't increase his own speed, but he does increase everyone else's speed. And I found that without the increased speed on Krisk, he actually wasn't able to maintain the taunts as well as he could on these runs. So that was kind of a big problem, right? That was kind of a big problem. So I had to put Lydia in. I tried so hard to make it work with Ugo, and we were getting to about 20 million in way more turns than it's taken me here. It was just much, much worse. And I just couldn't see a way to, honestly, to make it work. I couldn't see a way to make it work, unfortunately. So, yeah, bringing Lydia in instead of Ugo made it so much better. Krisk could spam his A1 much more, which made the decrease speed way more consistent. It healed him more. It did more damage. Lydia does more damage. Just all that stuff. So, yeah, something to note. It might be a gear issue. Maybe I just need more speed on Ugo and more speed on Krisk, but I don't know. It's something to come back to, but I find it really tough. The one very replaceable member here for sure is Godseeker Aniri. She's actually not that important. You could bring in other champions, but I don't have a Sifi. I don't have a Duchess. You know, like Sifi would probably work. If you put in Sifi and Ugo, that might work. Sifi and Ugo, maybe. But yeah, I just don't have those really good revivers / healers. I don't have that many. And I needed something to do some healing and some reviving because, you know, this Head of Wrath, he can certainly do a lot of damage. Krisk protects you from a lot, but there is going to be damage coming in, and there's sort of nothing that you can really do about it. You're going to have to prepare for that. So I needed something. Godseeker, one of her big things, well, her 2 big things, she actually does pretty decent damage, but we've got no increased defense in this composition. So that's definitely going to limit her damage output. And she also extends buffs, which is useful. Although with Krisk extending buffs, it's not as essential as it might otherwise be. You know, without a Krisk in there, it would be better. So she's not perfect for this composition by any means, but she works well. She does what we need her to. And it's been enough for this comp to work both these weeks of this rotation. So I've been pretty happy with it. But that's basically how the team works. I think you get the idea. And yeah, let's just skip through. Like I said, we're almost near the end, but you can see we're going to blast on through. We actually got Torment respawning again here at about 33 million. You need 36 million to 1 key, and that was enough to bring us through. It actually got a little bit close, but as we come to the end, look, this is where it went wrong. So we're coming up to this position here, and this is where stuff started to go pretty bad. This is where stuff kind of started to go bad. Everyone was dropping low with Head of Wrath and the Head of Blight out there. And here we go. This is where we flop over, and then it goes real bad real fast, right? Because once Inquisitor Shamael actually dies, you're in for a really tough time. That fear is going to wreck you, so you really do have to revive him. And then Krisk gets killed as well. And you can see at this point, look at this, the turn meter boost was going on to Lydia. Disaster. Whereas if we'd had it going on to Godseeker, we could have just kept smacking Torment with Godseeker over and over, getting her back to the revive. We could have picked up Geomancer, picked up Krisk, and maybe rescued this. But as it is, that turn meter boost on Lydia is not doing us any favors. And the run ends very, very shortly afterwards. So let me show you the ultimate result. Again, if you want to see that full run without me babbling over it, you want to see it in 1x speed, it's actually live now. I published it earlier today for members of the channel, so they can go in and watch it. But here we go. 43.56 million damage here on Nightmare. I do think if I'd not messed up this positioning with Lydia Godseeker, I do think we could have actually pushed further. I think we could have got more than that. I definitely do. You know, we weren't at our limit there. It was certainly getting sketchy, but we weren't doomed. It was salvageable, but I messed up, unfortunately. And we can see in terms of the damage, Geomancer did the most. He did absolutely tons with that taunting set, actually helping out a decent amount. Not essential. Actually, it was a little less valuable than I thought it would be. It was nice. It worked a few times well to get a clutch taunt on Head of Decay, but it wasn't essential. It wasn't essential. Royal Guard, again, 11.6 million, not bad. Krisk doing his thing, tanking the damage for the team. Lydia doing her thing, so good. You see Krisk healing himself a lot. Godseeker doing all the other healing. You know, we've got very little healing from anyone else, but we've got so much damage reduction with the Strengthens from Lydia, with the Ally Protection, and the Decrease Attack from the Krisk. And of course, Geomancer's passive as well. The Guardian set from Inquisitor helping us too. We actually have room for another Guardian set in here. You can really bring in 2. I'm just a bit sketchy about putting a Guardian set on Godseeker because I'm just worried that she might die, which would be really bad. But I mean, you could put a Guardian set on Geomancer, maybe. Though he takes so many turns, he'd probably be vulnerable. He'd outrun the Ally Protection. So it's hard to know where else to put it. Lydia might be nice, but I really like my Lydia's gear at the moment, so I'm not too keen to switch it up. But anyway, enough about that's part of why I wanted to put in Ugo, but didn't quite work. So let's take a look at the champions. Let's take a look at them. First up, we got that Lydia. So I have her in triple perception. Obviously in really good gear here, over 100k power. No surprise. So some of the best gear in my account, 60k HP, almost 3k defense, 1.5k attack, 265 speed. I can actually glyph this up. I'm so out of speed glyphs at the moment. I am so stretched for speed glyphs. I've got about 6 or 7 champions that have almost no speed glyphs. I'm just out. 265 speed, that go a little bit higher. 86% crit rate. I actually built her a pretty good crit rate. Tiny bit of crit damage, and then 470 resistance, 368 accuracy. So her accuracy is a small bit low. We could probably glyph that a little bit higher. I'd like to get that more up to 380, 390. It's a little bit low, but her resistance is really good. This is just sort of supplemental. As you saw in this team, it's so consistent with that Krisk Mischief tank. You don't really need this much. But I put this on before I got Krisk, I think, where it was more essential. Like, for example, with her, I've got her in crit rate gloves, actually, guys. Look at that. We actually have more accuracy we can glyph up right there. More accuracy I can glyph up right there. More speed to glyph up right there, you know. More speed, more accuracy. Okay, so I can definitely fix her accuracy. She's got a resistance chest. She's got speed boots. More accuracy can be glyphed as well. She's got, I think, a resistance banner. Then the accuracy sets. She's probably got a really good necklace. Well, not really good, but okay, with some resistance, some accuracy on it. And that's basically letting her do this. Her masteries are like so. Extended buffs, extended debuffs, and War Master are the keys right there. Krisk, the man himself, very similar masteries to Lydia, almost identical. And then he is also in triple perception. Shocker, absolute shocker. His gear is also quite good. He's not as fast, but this is pretty good. Yeah, I think Krisk, because he extends buffs, you can have him be fast, but you don't necessarily want him to be too fast. He might outrun buffs. I found that 245 is a pretty good speed number. He's got 500 resistance. That's a really sweet spot for Nightmare where you're feeling very, very safe. We don't have an AoE block buff, so we don't have block buffs on Head of Mischief. We need Krisk to be as reliable as possible, so that 500 resistance is what to aim for. He's got perfect accuracy here, 390 or so. And yeah, that's basically it. Trying to get as much sort of health and a bit of defense out of him then after that so he doesn't die. But he's able, even with his defensive stats not being crazy for like Krisk standards, those are pretty low because he's got so much accuracy and resistance and a good chunk of speed, but he's still tanking up just fine. So for example, he has HP percentage gloves. Now these are only 5-star. We could get 6-star. Resistance chest. Surprise, surprise. Guess the banner. Did you guess resistance banner? Yes, indeed. You are correct. It's a resistance banner. He actually has only a 5-star necklace, but it did have a double roll in accuracy and some resistance. So it could be improved some. Like that crit damage is not doing him any favors. Crit damage ups the damage you take from from ally protection, weirdly. He does have 2 revenge pieces for his jewelry as well, which is really good. That chance to counterattack is great. Really nice. And then I'd love to give him a blood shield as well. So it would be really good to have him with 2 revenge accessories and 1 blood shield. So that shield you get from the blood shield, it's an extra buff that just makes his mischief tanking that more reliable. So that would be nice, but I just don't have the luxury of it at the moment. Not right now. Who else do we have in there? We had my Shamael. I covered him in a guide today. I'm not going to go into detail in it. His stats are like this. He's in the Guardian set to keep us alive. His masteries are like this. I explained it in detail in the video. Godseeker is actually in need of a rework. She's next. In fact, I'm going to mark her. Build 3 is my I want to rework this champion marker. I need to put this on her. She's been due for a rework for about 6 months on my account, but she's got War Master. She's got this sort of stuff. The reason she's sort of been languishing here is that, look, she just did Nightmare. She just did Nightmare Hydra. You know what I mean? It works. It's just not perfect. So she's got good defense, but she's got very low HP. Her speed could be a bit higher. She's got lots of crit stuff, and then really meandering, mediocre resistance and accuracy that don't actually do anything on Hydra and Nightmare. They're both too weak. So she's definitely due a rework. I tried to up her HP, up her speed. We might even ditch like some defense, try to keep the defense high. Might ditch some of this crit damage and crit rate, not that important, and try to up maybe her resistance. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with her, but she does need some tweaks, I think. Then we had our 2 damage dealers. Yeah, the 2 damage dealers. So we had Taunting Set Geomancer. Here he is, guys. Taunting Set Geomancer. So unfortunately with Mike here, he is very slow, but because he's getting turn meter boosted by Shamael, for the most part he gets away with it. He's tanky enough to survive. He's got plenty of accuracy, and that's pretty much it, to be honest. He also, this is important, he does have 2 refresh accessories. I don't think they popped off too much in this run, but these can really help. I need to get him a 3rd one as well, but refresh accessories are huge. I got a new one today. Ooh, with speed. If this double rolls speed, this is great. I'll put this on my other Geomancer. It's an attack banner, but who cares? It's probably worth it if I can get enough accuracy on him elsewise. We'll see. But yeah, the taunting set, it's really inconsistent. But occasionally it does something good. I definitely don't think it's essential, but it can be nice. It's certainly a good option. More testing required to really commit to it. But he's built like this. His masteries are like so. And the final champion is Royal Guard. So his masteries are like this. And he is built in just some random sets, fairly random gear. The keys here, we've got him reasonably tanky, 44k health, almost 2k defense. I'd like this to be a small bit higher, but it's okay. He's got then good speed at 230 speed. I actually have him with 300 accuracy as well. I'd like to get more, but this is as much as I can reasonably get. 100% crit rate is obviously essential. And then he has 222% crit damage, which is a nice round number here. But just trying to really get him above 200% crit damage. It's actually kind of fine. I'm really leaning towards he needs to be tanky enough not to die. Obviously Krisk helps with that, but then high speed and good accuracy and like over 200% crit damage. And I'm feeling pretty good about that Royal Guard. He's going to do good damage. The decreased speed debuff he brings is actually very helpful. It's actually very, very nice to lock down Mischief a little bit extra or lock down Decay a little bit extra. And he's going to slam good damage. And guys, there you go. That is the team. Yeah, like I said, I've run this now 2 weeks in a row. I think it locked it in first or second attempt each week. This team now is super consistent, with Krisk being able to provoke it super consistent. I think we ran with a reflex set Geomancer the previous week. I used my other Geomancer and it worked just fine as well. But yeah, it's just a really good solid team. It's a really good solid team. I mean, the only regret I have is that I would love to use my Lydia and my other keys, right, to make the, because Krisk is kind of hard carrying this one. I'd love to use Lydia somewhere else, but I just found that I need her for this team to work, and it works really well. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Hope it was interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.